My next Patreon question is from Evelyn, who wanted me to compare two movies from one of cinema's boldest directors. Which of John Waters' two true crime-inspired dark comedies is better, Female Trouble or Serial Mom? John Waters is a filmmaker who has a real knack for portraying the more twisted side of society, but he does it in a strangely loving and humorous way that works a lot of the time. I think both Female Trouble and Serial Mom are very funny films with a lot to say, but if I had to pick a preference, I'm going to say Serial Mom. That movie manages to get a lot of humor out of the lead character Beverly's behavior, played with the right note by Kathleen Turner. The way Turner switches from the stereotypical kind housewife to someone who gets a thrill out of tormenting the people in her neighborhood is so well done. There's a lot of comedy born out of her going after people for what appear to be the mildest of offenses. She continually sends obscene messages and makes prank phone calls towards a neighbor, just because she took her parking spot. That's hilarious. The story continues to escalate in humorous ways, especially as her family starts to clue in more to her behavior. Serial Mom could have easily just been the Kathleen Turner show, but Waters makes sure everyone in the cast gets funny things to do. By the way, one of the actors playing a neighborhood friend of Beverly sounded strangely familiar, and then I found out she's Mrs. Puff from SpongeBob SquarePants. The whole thing plays on an absurd level that works, and Waters manages to find the dark comedy in each of the murder scenes. What he especially seemed to portray with startling accuracy is people's fascination with true crime and highly publicized trials. The satire is on point as we see people taking sides, the family members trying to profit off the case, and the constant media attention. In an astonishing case of perfect timing, O.J. Simpson was charged with murder only a few months after the release of Serial Mom, and the news coverage and public discourse that transpired played out very similar to what is seen in the film. And years later, people still watch these sorts of trials or learn about true crime stories with the same curiosity. John Waters really hit upon something with Serial Mom while also making a very funny movie. Female Trouble comes from his extremely low-budget filmmaking period, but also proved his skill at telling outrageous stories. In typical early Waters fashion, it revels in being in bad taste and seeing how much he can shock the audience with the acts performed by the characters. However, a reason why Waters was able to rise above most other schlock filmmakers of the 70s is that he seemed to have a genuine appreciation for the characters, no matter how disgusting. The actors were always in on the joke, and the humor lands more often than not. Divine commands the screen the second he appears and goes all in depicting the bratty behavior of the lead protagonist, Dawn. Of course, he's obviously not a teenager in the early scenes, but that's part of the humor, as Waters does his own twisted take on high school movies. Divine even plays another role as the man who impregnates Dawn, and leave it to Waters to try and film a sex scene where the two people making love are played by the same actor. Meanwhile, Ming Stahl plays her eventual daughter, Taffy, and we see how that relationship is developed. Stahl even manages to steal the show from Divine on occasion, thanks to some hilarious facial expressions, while the film also shows the effect that Dawn's terrible parenting skills have on her. The truth is, almost every single character in Female Trouble is a terrible person, and Waters shows how things escalate, when one of them even put in a birdcage for a period of time. The movie also serves as a commentary on fame, Dawn seeking to become famous for her actions, which includes murder. The movie concludes with a trial, similar to Serial Mom, so it's clear Waters had this on his mind long before he filmed Kathleen Turner in a courtroom set. Of course, being one of his 70s movies, there's a grimy and unpolished look to the film, but that actually perfectly fits the attitudes of the characters. There's something strangely endearing about the way his films are filmed on location with no attempt to clean up the homes and establishments. Movies often look to shy away from showing environments like those featured in the likes of Female Trouble and Pink Flamingos, but Waters delights in it. I should mention Serial Mom, being much higher budget, has a glossier look to it, and that fits the world depicted in that specific film too. Now let me know in the comments whether you prefer Serial Mom or Female Trouble, and thank you for your question, Evelyn.